Okay, let's talk about one of the most basic but also one of the most powerful things a teacher can do, learning your students' names. It seems pretty simple, right? But getting this right can absolutely transform your classroom. So we're going to build a little toolkit to help you do just that.
Does this sound at all familiar? You know that feeling, that little pang of panic when you realize a few names just aren't clicking? I think pretty much every teacher has been there. It's a really common challenge, but it's one we've got to tackle.
And here's the stakes. This is why it's so important. Because if we don't know a student's name, they're not really a full person in our classroom yet. They're kind of just an anonymous face in the crowd, and that changes the entire dynamic of learning.
So here's how we're going to break it down in our toolkit. First, we'll talk about why names matter. Then we'll get into preparation. After that, we'll dive into some practical tools for the classroom and how you can make it a game. And we'll finish up with something crucial, learning the right name.
Okay, let's dive into that first section, why names matter. Because this is about so much more than just memorizing a label. It's really about laying the groundwork for your entire classroom culture. Think about it. Using a student's name is such a powerful act. It tells them, I see you. You're acknowledging them as an individual. And that simple thing, it builds respect. It shows you're interested. It even helps the students work better with each other. It's a small thing that honestly makes a huge difference.
All right, on to section 2. Preparation is key. You might think the work starts on the first day of school, but really, the best time to start learning names is before you've even met them.
And the idea here is so simple but so effective. Before day 1, just get that class list and spend some time with it. And if you see names you're not sure how to pronounce, don't just wing it. Ask other teachers who might know. A little bit of homework here makes that first day so much smoother.
Okay, section 3, tools for the classroom. This is where we get into the really hands-on, practical stuff you can start using the second your students walk in the door. Ah, the name card. A total classic, right? And for good reason. You've got your standard folded card, which is great. But check out this other version, the individualized card. Instead of just writing their name, students draw something about themselves, a hobby, a favorite animal, anything. That little personal touch creates a much stronger hook for your memory and for their classmates too. You know, our brains love visuals, so using photos is a no-brainer. You could have students bring in a picture for a class photo poster. Or, if you want to go a bit more high-tech, have them upload a photo and record a quick intro for a class website. And of course, the old-school classic, take a class photo on day 1, print it out, and just write the names on it. It's your own personal cheat sheet. Here are 2 more super simple but really effective tools. First, the room map. Literally just sketch out your seating plan and fill in the names. It helps so much. Second, as you're meeting students, make a little mental note of a memorable characteristic. You know, brown glasses, really cool haircut. It's just a little association trick that can help lock in that name.
Now for our 4th section, let's talk about making it a game. Learning names shouldn't feel like a test. When you turn it into a fun, collaborative activity, you lower the stress, and that's actually when our brains remember things best.
And a perfect example of this is name bingo. It's so simple. Every student gets a 3x3 grid and fills it with 9 names from the class. Then they have to walk around and find the people on their grid. It works because everyone is up, they're talking, and it turns remembering names into a kind of fun, social puzzle. Another amazing tool is the mnemonic. A mnemonic is really just a fancy word for a memory trick, a way of creating a little story or association to help you remember something. And our brains are just wired for this stuff. We remember quirky connections way better than we remember dry facts.
So, how do you use them? You could have students come up with a little sentence about themselves. Maybe it's alliterative, like Jolly Jim, or maybe it's just a really memorable fact, like Fatima who hates football. These little hooks are surprisingly powerful for making names stick, not just for you, but for the whole class.
Want another fun game? Try anagrams. Each student writes an anagram of their name on a piece of paper. So Jim becomes MU. You collect them, write one on the board, and the class has to figure out whose name it is. It's a quick, low-pressure puzzle that gets everyone thinking about names.
And that brings us to our last and honestly probably our most important section, learning the right name. This isn't just about memory anymore. This is about showing respect for a person's identity.
Oof, this slide is a perfect example of what not to do. Can you imagine hearing a teacher say your name is weird or too difficult? It's really damaging.
So this leaves us with a really clear choice. On the one hand, you can just assign a new, easier name, but that sends a terrible message.
that their actual identity isn't worth your time. The other path, you learn their real name. And when you do that, you show them you're interested in who they are and that you're a learner, just like them. It is always, always worth the effort.
So how do we actually do this? Well, here's a 6-step process. First, just ask them to say it again and really listen. Second, ask them questions about it, like where the stress goes. Third, talk about the name. Does it have a special meaning? Fourth, give it a try, but then ask for feedback. Hey, did I get that first sound right? Fifth, if you're still struggling, that's okay. Just apologize and let them know you're going to keep working on it. And finally, a great tip, just record them saying it on your phone so you can practice.
So at the end of the day, this whole toolkit is about finding what's going to work for you and for your students. We'll leave you with this question to think about. Could any of these techniques improve what you're already doing? Because the real goal isn't just to memorize words. It's to connect with people. And that connection, it always, always starts with the name.